Hey there, it's Krystal Everdeen, and today I'm going to show you how to crochet this heart halter top. Now, for this project, I'm using both white yarn and light purple yarn, but of course you can use whatever color you'd like. I'm also using scrap yarn, so I don't necessarily know how much yarn I'm going to be using for this project, but I do know the type. So this is size 4, 100% acrylic yarn, and if you want to get the exact same ones that I'm using, I will link the affiliate links in the description box below that you could use to buy the same yarn as me. I'm also using a size 5mm hook, and I'll also link the hook in the description box down below as well. But with that, let's go ahead and get started. So I'm actually going to start off with the white yarn since my top is mostly going to be white, and then I'm going to use the lilac later, so I'm just going to put that to the side for now. So grab your main color. For me it's going to be white, and then make a slip knot. Now if you are a beginner to crochet, I do have a crocheting for beginners video that I will also link down in the description box below, so you can practice with that and then come back to this video or try out some more beginner friendly videos first and then come back to this one. But yeah, after you make your slip knot, you're going to put your hook through it, and then we're going to chain a chain of however many chains you need in order for it to wrap around your ribs, pretty much from here to here. And of course that's going to be different for everybody, so just make a chain and then put it against your body, and then once it reaches from about here to here on you, then that's how you know that you're done. And if you're curious to know how many chains I made, I ended up making 72 chains. That's right, not 70, not 75, 72 chains, because that is the exact number of chains I need in order for this chain to reach the 2 points that I showed you earlier. But of course, it's going to be different for you, so whether or not you make more or less chains, as long as it's able to reach those 2 points, then that's however many you need to chain. Okay, so from here we're going to go back on our chain with a half double crochet, and in order to do a half double crochet, we're going to yarn over, then go through the stitch with our hook, then we're going to yarn over again, go back through the stitch, and we're going to have 3 loops on the hook. We're going to yarn over again and then go through all of the stitches all at once, so it's a really easy stitch. But again, it is yarn over, through the stitch, yarn over, back through the stitch, yarn over through all 3 loops left on the hook, again yarn over, through the stitch, yarn over, back through the stitch, then yarn over, and then through all 3 loops. So you're just going to continue with that stitch until you're at the end of the row, and then once you're at the end of the row, I'm going to go ahead and show you what we do in order to keep the edges nice and even for now. Dun dun dun! Because we are going to be changing it up later, but for now we have to worry about keeping the edges even. So I'll go ahead and show you what I do, but this is what the stitch should look like. So that's what the stitch looks like. You're just going to do that all along the chain that you created, and then I'll meet you at the end. Okay, so now I am at the end of the row. I'm going to go into the last stitch right here. So I'm going to go into it, make one last half double crochet, and then this is what the project looks like so far. So just one row of half double crochet. And from here, now that I have made sure that I went into the very last stitch of the row, I'm going to chain 1, flip the project over, then go into the very first stitch of the new row, and then continue on with another row of half double crochet on top of the row of half double crochet that we just created. So what's really important here to make sure that your edges are straight is to again chain 1 at the end of every row, and then when you flip the project over to start the new row, you go into the very first stitch. A lot of people kind of skip over the first stitch unintentionally and then go into the second one, and then that's how the edges kind of go in, and we don't want that yet. But yeah, for now, make sure that your edges are straight, and we're just going to continue making more rows of half double crochet, making sure that we chain 1 at the end of every row, and then flip the project and go into the very first stitch of the new row. So for me, I actually want mine to be a crop top, so I only made about, how many did I make? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I'm going to make 10 rows of half double crochet, making sure that I go into the very last stitch of a row, chain 1, flip the project over, then go into the very first stitch of the row. I'm just going to do that for 10 rows, and then I'm going to change it up a bit and start making the actual halter shape. But again, I made 10 rows and I have a crop top, and if you want your top to be longer, or maybe you're just taller than me and 10 rows doesn't seem like a lot, then make more rows. It's totally up to your body and preference. For me, I'm just throwing it out there as a reference. I am 5'2", have a small torso, and made a crop top. So I only made 10 rows of half double crochet before I started the halter shape, but you could totally make more. You could totally make less. If you want the top to be even shorter than mine, then make less rows of half double crochet before you make the halter shape. So again, totally up to you, but again, I'm going to be making a total of 10 rows of half double crochet, making sure that I chain 1 at the end of every row, and then go into the very first stitch of the new row so that the edges are straight. Okay, so I just went into the very last stitch of my 10th row. So from here, I'm still going to chain 1. I'm going to flip the project over. I'm still going to go into the very first stitch of the new row, but this is where we're going to change things up a bit so that we can start making the halter shape, aka start making decreases in order to get that slant that we want. So from here, we are going to skip the second stitch, go right into the third stitch, and then just continue on normal. Yep, that is the big step we need to take in order to make the halter shape. Now, at first, you're not really going to see a difference. Maybe you can see a tiniest little bit of a difference right here because we skipped that stitch, because we decreased the total number of stitches for that row. It's going to start slanting inwards because obviously there's less and less stitches, so it's not going to stay straight. It's going to go this way. And that's what we want because we're making a halter top. So from here, again, I'm just going to complete the rest of the row as I would normally, going into every single stitch up until the very end where I go into the very last stitch as well. So now I've reached the end of the row again, made sure I went into the very last stitch of the row. I'm going to chain 1, flip the project over, go into the very first stitch of the new row. Then I'm going to skip over that second stitch, go right into the third stitch, and then continue on my way throughout the rest of the row, just making my half double crochets as I normally would until I reach the end, and then I do the exact same thing over again. And you continue doing this until you reach the point where you put the project against yourself and you want to add the heart. So pretty much put the project against yourself, and then once you reach the point where you hit your chest, like right where you want your heart to be, your crochet heart to be, then we can go ahead and add the purple yarn. But until then, just again, continue making rows and rows of half double crochet, making sure that you skip that second stitch for every new row. And yeah, that's pretty much what you need to do until you reach that point. So I still have a number of rows until I get to there, so I'm just going to be making like this triangular shape eventually, because again, you're not going to see it right away, but I'll go ahead and do a couple more rows and then show you what it's going to look like as long as you continue, again, skipping that second stitch for every new row. So now that I've completed a couple more rows from where we left off, you can now better see the slanting, or like the decrease, the triangular shape instead of the rectangular shape we normally would create if we weren't trying to make a halter top. But again, since we do want that slant, we want to start decreasing, and by decreasing we are skipping that second stitch, and this is what the project looks like. So my top is probably going to be this big, but I'm going to stop right here to add in my heart. So I'll add the heart right here, and then after we're done crocheting the heart, we'll just continue to the very top where we'll finish the top about right here, and then add the straps, and then that's the entire project. But for now, I just gotta make sure that I continue doing what I'm doing until I get to the point where I want to add in the heart. So I will meet you there. Okay, so I just continued crocheting until I reached the point where I put the project against my body, and I figured I would like to add the heart right here. So we are now at the point where it's going to get really confusing really fast. This is the part where we're going to be making the heart. Now, this is actually from my previous crochet project where I actually figured out how to make a heart for a heart bag. So if you get lost in this tutorial, go ahead and check out that tutorial for a slower version of what I'm about to show you, because again, it's going to get confusing. I'm already warning you now. So I pretty much want to make this heart as I am crocheting the halter top, but the issue is I only really know how to make it granny square style, so I'm thinking I just pretend that this center of the top is a granny square. So originally, to make this granny square, you need to chain 12. So I'm just going to mark out 12 stitches and then do the exact same pattern that I did for this, but just in between these 12 stitches, and then the rest of the top I'm just going to continue using my white yarn and just crochet, but every time I am within these 12 stitches I'm going to use this pattern for the heart. Sounds like a good plan, right? Let's go ahead and see if it works. Well, obviously if you're watching this video it probably worked, so let's get started. Okay, so I went ahead and made my way to the middle of the project, marked out my 12 stitches that are again in the middle of the project, and I'm just eyeballing it. If you're wondering, you could actually count your stitches if you want to, but I'm a risk taker, so I went ahead and marked out 12 stitches, and this is the end of my 12 stitches. So from here, the pattern is you crochet 5, and then in the 6th stitch you're going to switch the color and crochet 1. So I'm going to go ahead and crochet 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So for this 5th stitch, I'm actually not going to complete it. I'm going to start the stitch, and then I'm going to add the new color, which is the purple, and then complete the stitch with the purple yarn. And then I'm going to use the purple to crochet 1, but not a full one. I'm going to switch it back to the white and then complete the stitch with the white. So that is our 1 stitch in our 12 stitches. So from here, I'm just going to crochet 5 again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And that is the end of this row for the heart. But of course we still need to continue the rest of the row for the regular halter top, so we're going to complete this row, do what we need to do at the end of the row, and then come back, and then once we are at this 12th stitch again, this is the 12 stitches right here, in between here and here, so everything outside of it is just normal halter top, and then just within these stitches right here, that's where we're doing the heart. Okay, so I will get back to you when we come back to the heart portion of this project. Okay, so now I am at the point again where I'm working on the heart portion. So for this row, we're going to crochet 4 with the white, and then we're going to crochet 3 with the purple. So 1, 2, 3, and then before I finish this 4th one, I'm going to add in the purple right here. Yeah. And then crochet 3 with the purple. So 1, 2, and 3. But before I finish this 3rd one, I'm going to add in the white again. And then I'm going to crochet 4 with the white. But then after I'm done with the 4, I'm just going to continue with the white until I reach the end of this row. But that's essentially the end of this row for the heart. So again, I'm just going to finish off this row, then come back to show you what to do for the next row for the heart. Okay, so I am within those 12 stitches again, and for this row we are going to crochet 3 with the white. So 1, 2, and then right before we finish this third one, we're going to add the purple and complete that stitch with the purple, and then we're going to create 5 stitches with the purple. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, but before we finish this 5th one, we're going to re-add the white and then complete the stitch with the white yarn. And then from here, just finish the rest of the row with the white yarn, and then I will let you know what to do for the next row for the heart. This is what the project looks like so far, by the way. Okay, so I'm within those 12 stitches again, and for this row we're going to crochet 2 with the white, and right before I finish this one I'm going to add the purple, and then crochet 7 with the purple. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, but right before we finish that 7th one, we're going to re-add the white and complete it, and then we're going to finish off the rest of the row and then come back to it, and then I'll tell you what to do for the next row of the heart. Okay, so for this row, we're going to crochet 1 with the white and then quickly add the purple to complete that stitch. And now we're going to crochet 9 with the purple. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, but before we finish that 9th one, we're going to re-add the white yarn to complete that stitch, and then just complete the rest of the row with the white yarn, and then get back to the heart. And then once we do, I will let you know what to do for the next row. Okay, so I have made it back to the middle of my top, and from here we're going to do the same thing we did for the last row. We're going to crochet 1 with the white yarn, but right before we finish the stitch, we're going to add in the purple, and then we're going to crochet 9 with the purple. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then right before we finish this 9th one, we're going to re-add the white and complete that with the white, and then finish off the rest of the row with the white yarn. And this is what the project looks like so far. So now for the next row, we're going to make like the little bubble shape for the heart. Okay, so I'm back with the new row. So from here, we're going to crochet 1 with the white, but before we finish that, we're going to add in the purple again, and then we're going to crochet 4 with the purple. So 1, 2, 3, and then right before I finish this 4th one, we're going to re-add the white yarn, and then we're going to crochet 1 with the white yarn. So just crochet 1, but before we finish the 1, we're going to re-switch it to the purple, and then we're going to crochet 4 more with the purple. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, but before we finish that 4th one, we're going to add in the white and then complete it, and then finish off the rest of the row with the white yarn. And this is what it looks like so far. And then we're gonna head on over to the next row. Okay, so new row. From here, we're actually going to crochet 2 with the white. So 1, 2, but right before we finish that 2, we're going to add in the purple, and then we're going to again crochet 2. So 1 and 2, but right before we finish that 2nd one, we're going to re-add the white, and then from here we're going to crochet 3. So 1, 2, and then right before I finish this 3rd one, going to re-add the purple, and then crochet, re-add the purple, and then crochet 2 with the purple. So 1 and 2, but right before I finish that second one, we're going to re-add the white. And then continue on with the rest of the row with the white. And this is what the project looks like so far. And honestly, after you reach this point, then you are done with the heart portion of the project, because the rest of the rows are just going to be all white. So from here, you could just continue just finishing off the halter top the way that we normally were doing before we, dealt with the heart. So just keep going until you put the project against yourself and you're happy with how the project looks against your body, how high it goes. So I'm just going to go up until I'm happy with the neckline, and then once I am, then I'll show you how I do my straps. Okay, so I have reached the point where I am happy with the size of my top, and now it's time for me to make the straps. So this is what the full halter top looks like, with the little heart detail right in the middle. Super cute. So I'm actually just going to make 2 really, really long straps, and then I'm going to show you how I make them into back straps as well. From here, I'm just going to chain a very long chain of 150 chains. So now that I have completed my 150 chains, I'm actually going to go back on it with a slip stitch, and all a slip stitch is putting your hook through the stitch, yarning over, then bringing your hook back through the stitch as well as through the last loop on your hook. So it's just one swift movement through and through, and I'm going to do that all along the chain that I just created to top of the halter top, and then I'm going to crochet my way across to the other side and then make another chain of 150 chains, then go back on it with a slip stitch, and after I've done that, then I will be completely done crocheting this halter top. Okay, and once you are done with the 2 straps, then you just flip your project over and make sure that the back side is facing you. Then you're going to fold the ends of the top together, grab one of your straps, and then bring it over to the bottom portion of your top, and then you're going to kind of pick out where you want the straps to be attached to. So I usually like to attach them at 3 points. So this bottom portion right here, I divided into 3 sections: the top, the middle, and then the bottom. So that's where I attach each of the straps. So I take, again, one strap from one side, bring it on over to the opposite side, and then attach it to the top portion of the bottom portion of the top. Then I just bring it through with my hook, and then I reach on over to the opposite side, figure out where the middle stitch is from here. Then I grab this strap, bring it on through with my hook, and then once that's through, I bring it on over to the opposite side one last time, but this time attach it to the bottom of this section. And then once this has gone through, then I'm done attaching this side, and then I do the exact same thing with the other strap, but obviously just on the opposite side. So I grab the other strap, and then I bring it to the opposite side, attach it to the top portion of this bottom section down here, and then I reach on over to the opposite side, attach it to the middle portion of that opposite side, and then once I attach it through the middle, then I bring it over to the opposite side one last time, and then attach it to the bottom portion of this section of the top, and voila, your straps are nice and attached. And of course, you're going to want to detach this yarn from the yarn ball. However, I am going to be unraveling this project after I'm done filming this video, but that is why mine is not detached, because I'm going to salvage the yarn for another tutorial. But I'm assuming that if you are crocheting this, you want to keep it, so be sure that you cut the yarn from the yarn ball, and then you will be completely done with your halter top. So this is what your top should look like once you're done, and now you can go ahead and rock it this Valentine's Day or whatever season time you are watching this. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you found it either interesting, entertaining, or helpful, please give it a big thumbs up before you go. And also, don't forget to check out the rest of my channel if you want more crochet tutorials or crochet inspired videos. I have so many of them, so just check out my channel's homepage. Also, if you watch this video and you are a complete beginner to crochet, again, I have that Crochet for Beginners video down in the description box below, as well as some more beginner-friendly options if you would like to check those out first and then come back to this one. Thank you again so much for watching. Don't forget to click that red subscribe button if you have not already, so I can see you next time. Bye! And have a magical day.
These days, under the sun together. These days, let's make them last forever. These days, let's hope they last forever.